Now, Religion in the News, a report and comment on religious trends and events being covered by the media. This week's item is from Vatican Radio, October 7th, 2007, with a headline, Praying the Rosary for Peace. The following are excerpts. Pope Benedict XVI asked that the Rosary be prayed for peace in families and in the world. This is something that Mary has also offered in various apparitions, the Pope explained today to the thousands of pilgrims gathered in St. Peter's Square for the midday Angelus. I'm thinking especially of her appearance at Fatima, which took place 90 years ago, the Holy Father said from the window of his study, to the three little shepherds, Lucia, Jacinto, and Francisco, presenting herself as the Madonna of the Rosary. She insistently recommended praying the Rosary every day to bring an end to the war. We also desire to welcome the Virgin's maternal request, committing ourselves to saying the Rosary with faith for peace in our families, in countries, and the whole world, he added. On this day that the Church celebrates Our Lady of the Rosary, the World Day of the Rosary also takes place. That initiative began 11 years ago in Mexico, uniting millions of people on 5 continents to pray the Rosary in public places. The Pope explained, the Rosary is a means given by the Virgin for contemplating Jesus and meditating on His life, for loving and following Him always more faithfully.
Dave, as you know, we just mentioned it, that I grew up Roman Catholic, and for the first 30 years of my life, I prayed the Rosary. And but there are some inconsistencies here, well, some real problems with it and so on. The Pope, just to begin with, he says that that Our Lady gave the Rosary to the world, and he explained, the Rosary is a means given by the Virgin for contemplating Jesus and meditating on His life, for loving and following Him always more faithfully. Now, I think his math's a little bit off here because, a new mystery has been added to by Pope John Paul II. A new mystery has been added. So we have 20 mysteries of the Rosary. And that sort of, we're talking about praying to Mary. Mm-hmm. It's basically, it's 10-1 over Jesus. Right. And when you add all the mysteries, you're talking about, it's still the same ratio, but a couple of hundred times you're praying to Mary, and less than 100 you're praying to Jesus, and it's phenomenal. A lot less than 100. Right. So the and the idea of the Rosary, it supposedly goes back to St. Dominic in the 12th century, right around there, and guess where it came from? An apparition. And just as he's mentioning that the apparition of Our Lady of Fatima supposedly appeared to these 3 young Spanish children. And what are these apparitions? The Rosary is not just a matter of being very Catholic. Islam has rosaries. In Eastern mysticism, the religions of the East have beads that they pray upon and so on. So it's not a new thing. It's hardly something that came through Mary, but it did come through an apparition, and it's a promotion of moving away from truth, moving away from, in Catholicism, moving away from the Lord, but focusing on Mary. This is an abomination.
Yeah, well, some observations. Jesus said, when you pray, don't use vain repetition as the heathen. They think they will be heard for their much speaking. The Rosary, I used to know the Rosary, and I've forgotten it in my old age, but
Dave, why did you know it? You didn't come out of Catholicism.
No, but because I wanted to be able to deal with Roman Catholics on this subject, but it's vain repetition.
Right.
It goes over and over and over and over the same thing. Hail Mary, full of grace, and so forth. And so that's one problem. It's vain repetition.
And I knew some who could say it so fast it almost sounded not like one sentence, like one word. Yeah. Unbelievable. Just to get through it.
Right.
Because you needed to get through it. Especially if you were given, it was given to you as a penance. interesting there, as a punishment in confession.
Yeah, so this is not a prayer, really, as I recall. You're asking God for something, or you're worshiping, but it's just a repetition over and over. Okay, now we're going to pray this for peace. Pope John Paul II, that was a big thing with him. This is going to bring world peace. Pray the Rosary for peace.
Right.
Now, in the earlier segment, we talked about the emergent church, and we talked about, bringing in rituals. It's not the Bible. It's not doctrine, but it's kind of an experience. Well, praying the Rosary is kind of an experience.
Right.
And somehow this is going to bring world peace. Now, how is that going to come about? Vain repetition that, as you point out, Tom, they don't even think while they're doing it. Not too many people are really contemplating, not thinking about Jesus for sure. They may be thinking about Mary. Maybe you get a little bit of Jesus in there as a baby. But
even so, Dave, what kind of communication is it?
Yeah.
How would you like to for me to have a conversation with you in which I just kept repeating something over and over and over again? You'd be gone so fast. Your head would snap.
Well, I don't know about that, Tom. I think I get to the phone and call the guys in the white coats to come out here.
Yeah.
It's not biblical. It's not.
For more information about the Berean call, call us toll-free at our order number or visit our website